What's up, Geminites? It's your boy GemMint with another statue unboxing and review. This time we have the brown suit Wolverine statue by XM Studios. Yes, I am the best there is at what I do, and what I do isn't very nice. So stay tuned.
Splash, they can't stand it. Comic flow, they can't stand it. I'm incredible, unforgettable. Something like Mint Collectibles, ayy. I'm a Gemini and we get it right. We amazing, no spider bites, so we doing reviews and getting the views.
Guys, before we get started, I want you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below, hit the notification bell, and make sure you drop a like on this video. We are giving away this Uncanny X-Force Omnibus by Rick Remender, one of the best omnibus in the Marvel library. This is the second printing, the new reprint that comes out in March, so you're going to get a chance to win this before it even releases. Stay tuned at the end of the video for details on how to win. Alright guys, so excited to unbox this. Let's go ahead and bust this bad boy open and take a look at the box. So the shipper box was a nice compact little box. XM Studios still has the best packaging in the game with this sturdy box that's reinforced on the corners. It always reminds me of luggage. It comes with an assembly handbook and it comes with an art print. So let's take a look at the print. All right, very cool. So it's always a picture of like the statue, so you can see it does have that not for resale thing from my understanding. They have to include that per Marvel because this is a licensed piece. Even got some ninjas from the hand there. It's showing his bone claws. So very nice art print. Not sold separately for 300 bucks. Very classy with the instructions here. On the inside of their art boxes, they always include a little biography about the character. So that's cool to see. Alright guys, so you have two layers in the styrofoam. Let's start taking out the pieces of Wolverine. Get them on the table here. Alright, this is part of the base, a little samurai helmet here. Looks like there's a magnet. Oh, these are kind of like a different material so they can't break. Alright, so here you have the Unmasked Portrait. Let's get a good look at it. Got like a Neanderthal kind of vibe going on with the eyebrows there, right? And the forehead. Pretty big size portrait. Alright, so I'm guessing right here is going to be the masked portrait. Yeah, that's the money shot. I definitely am digging the masked portrait much more than that unmasked. This one looks really great. Take a look at like the details in the mouth. The tongue is painted shiny. That leather kind of look on his fin of his mask there. Alright, what do we have here? Okay, here's part of the base. And it looks like we have three sets of arms. Let's go ahead and get them out. You know, XM Studios, they're really big on switch outs. Alright, so obviously these two arms are going to be the switch outs where he's holding the swords. Now I actually have a little bit of a blemish right here. I'll have to try to clean that out. Speaking of the swords, let's go ahead and just grab those right now. Alright, here's the two swords that key into those hands. Feels like it's metal. I can never tell. It looks like here is claws. Oh, okay, so these are the bone claws. So this was really interesting with this piece because it's the first licensed piece that we've ever seen Wolverine have bone claws. You got a ton of claws. I was going to say, I'm kind of nervous where the metal claws are at, but they're all over here. Yeah, so I think those swords are metal because these claws are not metal, and they're painted to look metal, so you can see the difference. They're much more of a chrome look. So this is going to be the set of arms. Look at this, man. Oh, that comes off. I don't know if this is going to have where the metal claws go in. Looks like this will be for metal claws. Or I don't know, could be for the bone. You know what? I think you can do bone or metal is the thing here. So you have two outstretched arms with swords, two outstretched arms like this with just claws, and then you have a set of arms where his arms are tucked to change the pose. So that's what's going on here. Alright, the bottom half, besides having all those claws, it has Wolverine's body and the base. Let's go ahead and get the base out. Alright, here we go. So it's the top of a building. It's got like a feudal Japan vibe to it. We'll talk a little bit about the concept of this piece during the review. But nice kind of like wide, flat piece. Alright, and lastly, the body. Wow, this is a lot bigger than I would have expected for a Wolverine torso. We're going to have to put him up next to the Sideshow one to see the comparison in scale, because I feel like he is way bigger. So, I'm liking it, man. He looks a lot different in hand than he looks in pictures. So let's get them all together, and we'll do a review. All right, guys, on to my favorite part, the assembly. So, I'm going to assume we got to put the base on first. This key's in with a big magnetic key on the back here. Or is it the front? Alrighty, so that goes there. Where does Wolverine go? Okay. Okay, so I guess you don't have to put that in first. All right, Wolverine's on top of the building. Let's go ahead and get an Unmasked Portrait on here. All right. Yeah, I don't love the Unmasked Portrait. I don't think it's something that I would use. All right, so we have a couple different arm options. Let's go ahead and get these on here. A lot of different ways that you can pose this piece. All right, so there's a quick setup. Let's see, where does this helmet go? I'm gonna have to look it up. All right, he's got a ton of claws. We're gonna go ahead and get this all out. Start putting claws on these hands. Wolverine, you're about to catch these hands. Oh, so check this out. So the swords, you can either put the swords in his hands, or you can put the swords in the base. Oh, okay. That's really interesting. So a lot of different options with this piece, man. And that's like XM's thing. They love to give you a ton of different options on their statues. Like the last XM piece we did was the Spider-Man. 3 torsos, just to give him 3 kind of different portraits, you know? Yeah, so the thought process here is that you can have those 2 swords sticking out of the base when you're using these arms that don't have the swords in them. So let's go ahead and get his claws in. That looks really nice. So you can have metal claws there. How do I want to do this now? There you go, bone claws. Cool. So I would never display him with bone claws in one hand and metal claws in the other hand. So let's just go ahead. All right, so here's the display option. You have Wolverine, unmasked, bone claws, swords in the base. You got the samurai helmet on the base. Awesome look. All right, now let's go ahead and switch them out for a different look. We're going to go metal claws. We're going to go outstretched arms. And we're going to go masked portrait. Dang, yeah. That might be the look right there for me. Wow. He looks great, man. This is a huge Wolverine piece. You know, in the last couple Wolverine pieces I had from Sideshow was the Logan, which looks incredible. Very small piece. And then the Wolverine Premium Format from Sideshow, which is also very small. Let's see what this one measures in at. So the height here is going to go to the top of his mask on this display. It's 20 inches tall, so it's about 5 inches taller than the Sideshow pieces. It's about 18 inches deep. And the width is really like claw to claw here. About 17 inches. So this is a big statue for sure. Love this look. It might be my favorite look, but let's take these swords out and get the last switch out option with the swords in his hands. So we'll take off the handles of those swords. And I guess with the sword option, you can have claws in his hands or not. Right? So if we take off his right arm here. Boom. We got his sword out with his claws out. And this one you could just kind of like no claws out, just the sword. Man, that makes his wingspan even longer. Like the width now with the swords, it's about 25 inches wide. That does look really cool though. So I want to get my facts straight. See, I was always familiar with the Wolverine brown suit costume from Frank Miller's Wolverine miniseries in 1982. But it was actually John Byrne and Uncanny X-Men 139 who first created the brown suit costume. This statue by XM Studios, it has an edition size of 650 pieces. This is number 45 out of 650. It has a retail price of $839, and it cost about $210 to have it shipped from Singapore to here in the United States. If you guys are looking to purchase this piece, we still do have some available at GemMintCollectibles.com. I mentioned this was sculpted by Ramel Trapora, and I wanted to really mention that because this was first shown as an unpainted model for some time. And the sculpt on this looked incredible. As an unpainted piece, I thought this is going to be the best Wolverine ever. The sculpt on this was just amazing. I loved his pose, leaping off this building, the details in the building, the details on Wolverine. And then when we saw it painted at one of those Singapore Comic-Cons, I think it was 2018, maybe it was 2019, man, it was like a huge letdown. Like something didn't look right anytime this piece was shown. Even on the professional pictures, I don't know if it was something with the texture, but I got to be honest with you guys. Looking at this in person, I don't get those same vibes as I did from pictures and video. I think it looks way better in person. So first, let's just look at Wolverine, because that was the area that I had problems with. And I think what it was is that the leathery texture on the brown gave off a shine that didn't really look good in the pictures. In person, I think it's a great difference in texture. If you look at his boots that are brown, has a leathery look. There's a different type of leather texture on any of the black parts, like on his boots, like on his face. And then you got a very fine texture in it. Yeah, very tight lines in there. And you probably don't even see that in the pictures. I think that's the problem. But in person, you can see it's a different texture. Not only does it have line work throughout, it also has seams on the legs, folds and wrinkles in the cloth. It has great shadowing on the musculature of his legs. And going up to his torso, the same thing, like on his obliques and on his ribs there. It looked so much flatter in pictures and on camera. I think that's what the problem was. Honestly, does not have that problem in person. It looks excellent. I'm loving the expression on his face here and his mask, how it's wrinkled up. You got a different type of almost like orange peel texture on top of his head. And then we have some finer details, like the back of his boots have zippers. That's kind of like a liberty that XM Studios took. And they took a liberty in his belt buckle. Not so much the buckle, but the end of his belt, where they gave him like a little stylized triangular end piece to the belt, which isn't comic accurate, but I think with the realism of this piece, it makes sense, because his belt in the comics is kind of like this big red belt. It looks so weird. The base is dope. This is like a feudal Japan type of building, and this is like a scene out of Frank Miller's Wolverine miniseries. That's basically what this is. In that series, he is a berserker fighter, and he wants to win over the heart of Mariko. And her father won't accept him because, you know, he's a gaijin, he's not a true warrior, he's not a samurai. And the reason why he fights like that is because of his healing factor. So, you know, who cares about playing defense when you can just heal? He's all offense and he's all rage. But he learns discipline in this storyline, and he learns the ways of the samurai and becomes a ronin because he's a samurai without a master. So I love the storytelling on this base. It brings me back to that mini-series. You have the little highlights here, like the helmet. You have the, what is this called? A geishu dog? I'm going to butcher that. I'm going to look like ignorant as hell. But that might be what it's called. Anyway, yeah, the details on this building are incredible. I mean, the sculpted, it's like a piece of art, really, when you're looking at the sculpted details of this building. I think the paint on the actual building top could have been a little better. It's definitely all just one flat concrete color. And I almost feel like it should have been a different kind of brown, because if I think about those buildings, I don't really think concrete, right? I always get like a wood vibe. I could be wrong there, but I think that there could have been a better paint job on the top of this building. I love the paint job on this piece on the back, that teal Statue of Liberty look. And I thought I was going to hate the paint job on Wolverine, but it actually does look really good. Hopefully the pictures I take can show you guys what I'm talking about here. You got crazy amount of switch out options like I showed you during the assembly. I'm definitely not really digging the Unmasked Portrait. I don't like the expression on him. He looks like Cro-Magnon. He looks kind of like a Neanderthal, and I'm not digging it. His face looks kind of too thick for me. And the teeth are not really painted well on this head either. I feel like it gives me vibes of the Sideshow Wolverine vs. Hulk maquette. The eyes look good. The 5 o'clock shadow looks good. The hair is sculpted pretty well. But this might as well go back in the box because this portrait looks amazing. He doesn't have the issue with the teeth. I love the whited out eyes on the mask. I hate it when they make Wolverine or Batman in live action movies where you can see their pupils through their mask. I love that all white. Kind of gives me a Jim Lee vibe, the way that it's drawn. And this mask, he doesn't really have as much of a 5 o'clock shadow. You see stubble and a slight discoloration on his chin that goes to more of a flesh tone on his cheeks. The paint job on his arms, the flesh tones on there look great. It has sculpted in hair, sculpted in veins. It looks really good. This is the pose for me. I really appreciate XM Studios throwing in bone claws. The only thing is, it's not really canon with this storyline. In this storyline, he already had adamantium. But, I don't know, it could have been... You could picture this as, hey, he's gone back when he's lost his adamantium and he's back in... I forget where it takes place, but he went back there after he lost it. So you can always play on that angle. Do a quick switch out to the swords with no claws. So I really appreciate XM giving us a lot of different options. But personally, I'm not a big fan of a ton of switch outs because if I like them all, then I just have pieces laying around. And so, usually I don't like them all, so I have to box them up or they're still laying around. And something about switch out pieces to me always just felt like you weren't sure on which way to go, so you just did everything. So, I'm not really a big fan of that. I think this is really cool to have these swords, but due to the wingspan of it and not really showing his claws because they're kind of hidden in the back, I would never use these arms. I'll probably put these back. And I'll probably not even put the swords in that base because they seem to not really stay in that well. So appreciate the effort, guys, but not for me. I know a lot of collectors love switch outs, but I'm not really a big fan of them. Comment down below if you guys agree with me on the switch out thing. All right, then you could just, like I said, put in the bone claws. I appreciate the comic accuracy. And XM, they're all about the comic versions. I don't think they've ever even made a movie piece. All their boxes always say comic version. And this just shows that their appreciation for the source material with doing bone claws. Got to show some love to this Unmasked Portrait, right? And bone claws just, I don't know, this portrait to me looks like it goes better with bone claws. So, a cool look, but this is not the display option that I'm going to use. I did want to mention, you know what, it actually does have a neck seam in this piece. Now this is kind of a nitpick because you're not really going to be right up on it, but if you're right up on it, you're going to see the neck seam. So it's there. It's not bad, but it's definitely visible with this portrait. With the Unmasked Portrait, you can't really tell because it looks like that's his collar. So overall, I'm really impressed with this piece. I like the paint job on Wolverine much more than I thought I was gonna. That was my biggest concern going into this. I think what I'm gonna do is pack up all the arms except for the outstretched metal claws, pack up that unmasked head, and just have it with the masked portrait. Alright guys, on to the giveaway stuff. All you have to do to enter into the Uncanny X-Force Omnibus Giveaway is be subscribed to this channel, hit the notification bell, hit the like button, and comment down below X-Force Giveaway. It doesn't have to be hashtag or anything. We'll use a random YouTube comment generator, and we will pull one winner who will receive this book, and you're going to be the only one with this printing. This has not even been released yet, so make sure to comment down below to enter into this giveaway. Also, guys, let me know what you think about XM's newest Wolverine statue in the comments below. Is it a hit or a miss? Is it a pass or is it whack? Or let me know what you think below. And thanks for watching, guys. Stay minty fresh. Peace.
They're saying I'm harmless, call me Cassidy, I'm bringing the carnage. Story the farthest, I'm a psychopath with a joker's lap bipolar. So there's two of me and only one of you, so do the math. I leave you stunned without the flash. No Wally West, no Barry Allen, reverse flash. They can't stand it, comic flow, they can't stand it. I'm incredible, unforgettable, something like Mint Collectibles, ayy. I'm a Gemini and we get it right. We amazing, no spider bites, so we doing reviews and getting the views. Venom my ooze, book of the week, come see me Wednesday and see what I choose. If it's about comics, then I got the news. Subscribe to the channel and you'll never lose, ayy. I show what I got and what's in the box. On top of my comics whenever they drop. Tell you what's coming and tell you what's hot. We keep it professional. We Mint Collectibles.